Hey everybody, this is Faris from the ASKFaris show, and I am so excited to be, for tonight. Tonight's guest is Darnell Johnson from Giraffe Masters of South Carolina. Guys, this young man is a true entrepreneur, very motivated, got a lot of great things going for himself. So Darnell, I just want to welcome you to the show, man.
Hey, how you doing, good sir?
Man, doing well, man, doing well. How's everything coming along up in good old South Carolina, brother?
Oh, everything is awesome. Like I said, I don't think it's changing here, but the only thing that's changing here is the days of the week, and as well as the weather, going from, I say 75-degree weather to 95-degree weather today. So we're cooking pretty good still here.
I hear you, man. Well, I guess that's actually pretty good for the lawn care business because, guys, if you all don't know, again, Darnell, he's actually the CEO and founder of Giraffe Masters of South Carolina, which is a lawn care service. So, Darnell, first of all, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Before we get into the business standpoint, kind of tell a little bit about yourself. I know you said you're from Orangeburg, South Carolina. Just a little bit about yourself. Then we're going to jump into the business part of it, okay?
I got you. Well, a little bit about myself, of course, from good old Orangeburg, South Carolina, born and raised. I'm 33 years old, 2 children, just a typical young man out here doing, living the American dream. Have extensive background. I'm a jack of many trades and a master of none, shall I say. Have a history in the United States with the military, between the Marine Corps and the South Carolina Army National Guard as well. Of course, I got to, cite my military service. And, just kind of been in business for, since 2007, on and off as a hobby, and brought it online shortly thereafter as a lucrative landscaping business.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
And that's one thing. I'm running across a lot of veterans as well, and that's one thing I see. A lot of veterans are transitioning from the military, and they have a focused mindset of actually going through and actually still contributing to our communities as well. And a lot of them are really taking that entrepreneur path. So, Darnell, when you transition from the Marine Corps and the Army National Guard as well, so did you automatically start off as an entrepreneur, or did you kind of transition your way from another career? Tell me, how did you become an entrepreneur, man?
Well, honestly, I guess I was an entrepreneur from, back in the day when my daddy taught me. My daddy we've always cut grass on the side. I used to walk around through middle school sometimes with $400 and $500 in my pocket in cash.
Oh my gosh.
Just walking around in cash. Wouldn't have expected, but however, like I said, my father taught me, of course, the hustling side of the business. Never really knew the business side of the business. Mm-hmm. One thing I challenge every veteran to do when it comes to coming out of service and things like that is, take all the good times as well as the bad and combine them together. You believe it or not, through all your life experiences, I won't even stop at military because, I have to roll it back to your parents, to your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, just friends like yourself who just may say a word or two that's like, hey, make the light bulb come on and throw you in a different direction. But I also have a backing also in I have a background in law enforcement as well. So, I'm kind of diverse across the board. Like I said, jack of many trades, a master of none. So it's just, like I said, it's just awesome. And, having that discipline coming out of the military, itself is just, it just puts you, I would have to say it allows you to be focused.
Yes.
It's almost like, that commander standing in front, putting you at attention. You're focused. You're not saying a word. You're just thinking. You're just free to think. You're not saying a word.
And Darnell, we're going to pause right there because I really think as entrepreneurs, I know I like the word focus, and I always go through and talk about the acronym FOCUS, follow one course until success. But when you're a focused entrepreneur, you're able to get things done. And I think so many times as entrepreneurs, we get so many dangling carrots, and we got this idea, that idea, this concept, this business. But to remain focused and be consistent in that focusedness as well, that's what really warrants that success as well. And that's one thing. Tell me what actually, especially starting off as an entrepreneur, starting off when you first launched Giraffe Masters of South Carolina, kind of tell me what frame of mind were you at, where you kind of transitioned away from a job where you said, hey, I really want to go through and branch out on my own because I was on my own when I was a younger child, but went up to the military, did the law enforcement thing. Like, what was that frame of mind were you in when you really got serious about your business?
I got really serious about business when I realized I've been in law enforcement now for going on 13 years. And I got serious about halfway through my career in law enforcement. I felt my wheels slipping. I didn't have that great traction for law enforcement. I have a heart for law enforcement. I love it.
Yes.
But I realized that that traction, my wheel was slipping. That's when I realized, indicators, a light and bell is flashing. Mm-hmm. So I always tell my story, my only beginning story. One thing about, landscape companies, they forget to tell their story because people think they just kind of show up and they got all of this and all of that.
Yes.
But, I still have him, I still have in my garage right now, my first lawnmower that I actually used to start business. And that was a 42-inch Craftsman mower. And that keeps me humble.
Wow.
I mean, I still use it. Matter of fact, I need to use it now because I got to get some leaves up.
Man, that's amazing. And I like what you said, because everything starts with a story. I was just meeting with the group of entrepreneurs today, and that's how we started our conversation with the story, because no one cares about your products or your service. They care about you. People buy you. And I feel like if you could go through and relate and have your most authentic self, meaning you can go through and tell your story like no one else can, I think people go through and fall in love with you. So, and that's one thing I feel like your charisma, your characteristics, I think those are the type of things that I see that's from the outside looking in that's really attributed to a lot of your success. But what's one thing other than your charisma, your charisma, your characteristics? What's one thing do you attribute to the success of your company?
I always make sure I bring awesomeness every day. I can feel like, one thing I like to tell everybody, we all have bad days. My left toe hurt, my right toe hurts. The kids are showing out, oh man, something broke around the house. At the end of the day, nobody never really has to know your world. As long as you're presenting your true self, your awesomeness. Like at the end of the day, you have to really set that stuff aside. And I'm not saying ignore it because it's currently happening. But, allow your true self to come out and let that awesomeness shine, because at the end of the day, I've been told time and time again, from many folks in the community and out and about, with different clients, like, you got a light shining on you. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's just a light shining. But, at the end of the day, I definitely challenge all entrepreneurs to sell your services or your goods and services on the experience. Always remember, it's like an experience, almost like going to Disney World, like everything is like perfect. But we know in real life, there's no such thing as the perfect, the perfect day,
Man, and that's what, like, you said another key thing, because I think a lot of times, especially a lot of people that's listening right now, people who have not given up on their entrepreneurial journey, there's always one thing that people always say is something about you, and sometimes it takes years to go through and realize what that one thing is. But people actually see it. When people recognize there's something about you, I would just encourage any entrepreneur to continue to walk in that light, because if you don't know what it is right now, I guarantee through the maturing of your business, through the maturing of your journey, you will go through and realize that. And again, like one thing I already know, you have a very charismatic personality, and I think it's like, I feel like you don't meet enemies. You're a friendly person, so you meet friends. And hey, with that being said, people like people, and people like to be around people that are likable as well. And so that's one thing I see about you, man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, they always say you get more with honey than, the other stuff.
Exactly.
Plus, I'd rather be the one who's just layered in glue, because at the end of the day, for the good or the bad, we can all learn something from everybody. You learn the great things of what you should do, but you also need to learn the things that you shouldn't be doing. Also, sometimes we kind of drop that block wall as we don't see the other folks over here, but you got to kind of see other folks' mistakes, so not to kind of drift that way either. So that's what kind of keeps you on track. So it's an even balance across the board.
And speaking of mistakes, what is one, especially on your entrepreneurial journey, what is one mistake that you made where you look back, but you made the mistake, but it was good that you made it because you learned from it? So what is one mistake or one lesson that you learned along this journey that really contributed to your continued success?
I'm gonna tell you what. I gotta laugh about it because it was a mistake, but I have to chuckle about it because it allowed me to sharpen my iron even more. But being a busybody, being very awesome, selling a service, and being excellent out there, we found that the company was moving, and we could actually keep up with the clients on payments. So at the end of the day, clients, nothing against the clients themselves, because at the end of the day, if we don't remind them sometimes, you just kind of forget. And that's what was happening. I mean, we was moving so many properties in the course of the day. It didn't matter if it was core aeration, lawn mowing, hedges, planting, full service landscaping, installations, tear out, debris removal. It didn't matter. A lot of times, if we didn't actually collect that payment up front, we realized that, hey, we left money on the table.
Wow.
And because we were just that busy, and I mean, in this industry, I mean, you have a week to a day, a day to a week that you're doing absolutely nothing. Then the next 6 months, you're like backed up, bam, 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 like, it's almost the farmer's concept. And we literally leave the yard now, some mornings before the sun comes up, and come back in when the sun goes down. So,
that is something.
But that's the biggest thing, is make sure you get your money.
That's one thing I think as an entrepreneur, like, because there's so many different facets of a business. There's marketing, there's administration, there's operation, there's a lot of different facets, and sometimes, especially when we first start our business, we wear all the same hats. We're all in one. But sometimes, especially as the organization grows, you realize that sometimes you need that administrative person who's going to follow up with the bills and follow up and with the payments. You need that marketing person who's going to help out with the marketing. You need the person who's going to go out and solicit more business. You need the person who's going to actually do the business. And I think that's where organizations go from being that infant to that mature organization as well, man. And that's one thing that I really love about you, man. So tell me, man, how many times have you ever thought about quitting along this way? Because I think so many times obstacles may come in front of people, and some people, they go through and quit. Other people, they go through and look at obstacles. Even if quitting comes in the back of their mind, they still go through and be resilient. So have you ever thought about quitting along the way, man?
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you want to quit because at the end of the day, when you're charging towards the top of the mountain, ain't nothing easy about going to the top of the mountain. I don't care. You can have a diesel engine tractor trailer. And yes, I drive a little tractor trailer on occasion as well. But you can have a diesel engine, and trust me, you see them, if you travel down the interstate, you can kind of see them like the truck is struggling to get up the hill. In life, in business, I mean, life itself, you know, generates some of that sometimes. But, you know, in business, it's just the same because you're balancing home and business. You know, it's not like you're showing up to somebody else's job saying, oh, everything is already laid out for me. Fuel is taken care of. This is taken care of. That is taken care of. Absolutely not. You're it.
Wow. Those are just golden nuggets that you actually, I love the analogy that you did with 18-wheeler, man. It just makes so much sense. And I really want my listeners to realize that, hey, despite what it looks like, even if you're going up the hill, but just be thankful that you're going up the hill, because some people, they're not even able to get on the hill. They may be convalescent. They may not have the abilities. They may be disabled, but you're able to at least get on the mountain to go up the hill. And even if you take a little inch at a time, you will eventually grace the top of that mountaintop as well. So, man, that's huge what you just said, bro.
Yes, sir. But I mean, that's awesome. Like I said, you know, I remember years ago, and I had a chuckle because I remember years ago when I got my law enforcement bicycle certification, they made us ride down hills. Oh, we went flying down, but we came back up, and it was so steep. But I mean, we came down almost crawling, but they always told us, keep your hips on the seat. Don't you come off that seat. But I mean, it was literally like moving like little ants, literally like
wow.
up on a bicycle. But it was just the same concept in a business. You know, your day is going to come. What they say, the chilly wind is going to blow.
Yes.
But they say, but hold the wheel.
That's it.
You may have to reduce the speed. But at the end of the day, you're still moving forward.
That's the thing right there. No matter if you're moving an inch or a mile, an inch a minute or a mile a minute or whatever, just as long as you're moving forward, because the moment that you do not move, that's when the death of the business comes. That's when delay sets in. That's when discouragement comes in and say, you know what, am I really on the right path? But if you go there and move an inch by inch, you will definitely get there as well, man.
Yes, sir.
Go through and change the tone a little bit. Who has inspired you the most on your entrepreneurial journey? I know you've crossed many different people, family, friends. Who has inspired you the most on your entrepreneurial journey?
You know, actually, it's been, you know, family, friends. I mean, just some associates. I mean, in the form of attorneys, fellow police officers, firefighters. You know, we did both when I first started my career. My father, a lot. My mother keeps me humble because I could be a firecracker. I'm gonna be true with myself. I can get on fire sometimes, so she keeps me balanced. My children, because at the end of the day, you know, the Bible speaks of, you know, leaving that inheritance for your children and your children's children, you know. So at the end of the day,
pause right there. And I want you to speak to that as well, because I really feel that a lot of people, that's one part they skip when in the Bible, is to leave that inheritance for your children, your children's children. And I really feel that, I know that's one of the core reasons of why I do what I do, is to go through and leave and inheritance my next generation. I don't work hard just for me. I work hard for that generation that's not even here yet. So why is it so important to go through and leave that inheritance for that next generation? And what do you want that inheritance to be? Inheritance is not all about finances as well. So what do you want that inheritance to be? But it's definitely finances as well. No, I don't want to discount that, but it's not all about that. But what do you want that inheritance to be? What do you want that legacy to be for that next generation that's not even here yet?
You know, at the end of the day, you know, in the talk about what we're talking about now, you know, you just speak of, you know, creating that generational wealth. And with that generational wealth, guess what? You have the power to empower others. Like I mean, I don't care who you are. You could be at the local restaurant getting something to eat for lunch, or you could be at a client's house, so you kind of hear, or even walking through the school, you kind of hear how people kind of discourse, you know, kind of feeling some type of way about their profession and things like such, even in law enforcement. But at the end of the day, the biggest goal is to, you know, encourage folks going forward, because at the end of the day, you can change dynamics. You can change the world. You know, I graduated from Claflin University. So, you know, the world needs visionaries. That's Mr. Henry Tisdale's, you know, motto at Claflin University. You know, I followed Columbia College for my master's just recently. But You know, at the end of the day, with that visionary portion, you know, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you can create visionaries, you know. At the end of the day, you know, you think we're doing something awesome because let's say you're in technology, I'm in the grass cutting. Guess what? There's a space for us all out here.
Yep.
And I tell people always tell me all the time when I'm encouraging, I even encourage other entrepreneurs who want to come into the same industry. Why not? They say, why not tell somebody else to come out here? Well, but they say, why would you, you know, of course the naysayers say, well, why would you tell them that? I said, because at the end of the day, let's think about this thing. I say grass grows everywhere and it has to be maintained.
Thank you. And that's when you realize you're on a mature level, when you realize that you cannot service everyone. Everyone's not your ideal customer. Everyone's not your customer. So if you have someone to the left or to the right that's doing the same thing, hey, good on them. Let them continue. And I hope and pray for the best because their families have to eat as well. And the more people that are actually productive and showing that, and they're role modeling for their generation or people that actually connected with them as well, the better. And one thing I want you to go through and think about as well, because I know you've been in business for a while. You have a beautiful daughter and a beautiful son as well. What have you seen as far as, have you seen any entrepreneurial gene come into them, or have you seen anything that any maturity and responsibility? What have you seen just by you walking in your role as a parent and also as an entrepreneur? What have you seen that trickled down that actually is kind of trickling down on your children?
You know, it's interesting that you asked that because Layla's, my daughter's more so on the administrative side. She's good with numbers. I guess she gets that portion from her mom's because me and numbers just don't get along. Now, I'm more so on the writing and, you know, the language art side of the aisle. But anyways, my son, on the other hand, he's the operations specialist. And I said, I said, God, I don't put together a business. Didn't realize I put it right here in my own children. I got an administrative person and I got an operations specialist. There we go. And I mean, he's 11 years old, but he runs every piece of equipment out here that I allow him to run. But I mean, as far as zero-tone tractors, the loaders, I mean, he runs it as if he's just a grown individual. Wow. I mean,
and that's amazing. Like, exposure is key, and I really feel that, especially as a parent, it's our responsibility to expose the next generation, no matter if it's our children, neighbors' children, nephews, nieces, whatever. I think it's our responsibility to expose them to something else, because if we don't expose them to what we want them exposed to, of course, the world's going to go through and expose them to things that's not going to be great for them. But just think, it's embedded in them that hard work pays off, that I can go through and learn a skill and a trade at a young age. I can go through and earn income at a young age. I don't have to wait till I'm 21 years old or 25 or after I got out of college. I can learn something right now at 11 years old that I can go through and continue to build our family business to that next level. Man, I commend you on that, man. And I would just hope that any other parent that's listening right now, regardless of actually what type of business it is, no matter what it is, involve your children. Involve your children and let them be impacted by that hard work, dedication as well, man.
And the unique part, if I can add something else to that, the unique part about that is, I know I just said about, my college degrees, but I'm an advocate for college, but I'm so against college right now. There's so many certifications and things that you can learn out there, and I mean, you can change the world. I tell people every day, I say, money is literally down on the ground. They just need somebody to go out there and pick it up.
Look, money's on the ground, and brother, you cutting it every day, man.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing I really want people to realize, that entrepreneurship is not. I think it came a point where people, they thought entrepreneurship meant you don't get your hands dirty. I met a plumber who is killing the game right now because he's willing to go out there, build his business, perfect his craft, and he's doing some major things in his business. All entrepreneurs are not the basement entrepreneurs. All entrepreneurs are not the office, the little white cubicle entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship comes in all forms, no matter if you're a landscaping, plumber, dentist, doctor, internet marketer, civil engineer. Entrepreneurship does not have one specific scope. I believe that there's entrepreneurship in any business or any product that's been created. Anything can be an entrepreneur endeavor if you go through and actually look at it from that standpoint. And I want people to know it's okay to go through and get your hands dirty. It's okay to go through and say, you know what? I got a landscaping business. I got an electrician company. Oh my gosh, some of the most affluent and wealthiest guys I've met, they did what we call quote unquote dirty jobs, but they were willing to do it to go through and build massive blue collar companies as well, man.
Absolutely. And the unique part about that is, sometimes I see different folks and they see me out and about with the truck and they say, man, you got crews. What are you doing? I say, at the end of the day, I say, man, I'm not too good to work. I'm not too good to cut grass. I'm not too good to trim your hedges. I'm not too good to spray y'all, aerate it. At the end of the day, I am the dude expert. I will spray what you need. Pass the card fast. In the conversation, here you go.
That's
Tell
it.
somebody about us.
I love it. I love it, man. I just love what you bring to the table. And I love that you represent the young entrepreneur out here. You represent the hardworking entrepreneur who's out there not putting excuses up, because anybody can come up with an excuse. Okay, well, hey, they didn't hire me, or I don't have the qualifications. No, my thing is you took something that you learned at 11 years old or when you were in middle school that you learned from your dad, and you really cultivated that and perfected that, and really you're really building a massive business around that, and not only just doing it for yourself, you're teaching your children the tricks of the trade as well. And for that, I commend you, man. That's big, man. That's very big.
Yeah, I appreciate it, good sir.
Man, okay, so we're getting ready to end this show, but before we go, I want you to, it's two things. I want to get you to ask a question as well, but before we go, what parting piece of advice would you give to a young entrepreneur who's out there right now, who's thinking about actually starting their own business, and they may have a great idea, but they don't know that next step? What parting piece of advice would you give them to encourage them along the way?
I got a couple of pieces of advice, and of course, this is for free.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
My first piece of advice is start it today. Well, it's after hours right now, but you know what? First thing tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, you should be at your Secretary of State's office on the website, logging that thing in, registering that business, get it established. You can put the pieces together along the way. Don't say, I don't have this, I don't have that. Call the Secretary of State's office and get that thing identified, get it locked in. So therefore, you're now recognized. One thing I realized about business, you kind of grow as you go. The second piece of advice would be, is very strong. I'm reading a book currently. It's called Millionaire Success Habits. I can't even pronounce the guy's name, but it was Mr. Dean.
Giraffe. Oh, yeah.
Don't get me going about his last name. I'm sorry. But anyhow. It speaks to high volumes that, you know, at the end of the day, it says, you know, in your craft, once you get going, you got two choices, either step up or step out. And that's a clear message. There's no in between. Be awesome, perfect your craft, or step out of the way. And that's pretty cool. And last but not least, another thing that you don't have to give him credit, because of course I got to cite him because of his materials. But however, another thing that I hold dear, and I picked up when I first started reading this book, at the end of the day, is he spoke to battery drainers and battery chargers. If you got any battery drainers around you, you know, get them out of your life. Move them to the side, out of the way. I don't care. I don't care who they are. You know, sometimes, you know, I don't even want to go there with this, but I'm going to be real. Sometimes even our folks at church.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry. I had to say it. But get those folks out of your life, because battery drainers do nothing. They don't recharge you. They just pull you on down. Nothing regens the battery but an alternator. Now, the two can go hand in hand. I'm sorry. I'm kind of going into mechanics a little bit here. But, you know, but when you get another battery charger, something about the positive energy when you hook up and you feel it. It's kind of almost like it makes you stick your chest out. You might be having a hard day, and all of a sudden you'll feel the lift. And even those battery chargers will be the ones praying for you. I'm convinced. I tell my kids every day, I say, I know somebody's praying for us, but I got a whole different walk this morning. Wow. You know? Wow. So although they're not physically here, I'm sure they're praying for us, because we go into prayer every morning.
Exactly.
You know, so and that's the biggest thing is, at the end of the day, and you know, I'm not saying just dump the battery drainers, but pray for them that, you know, they be uplifted. But right now they can't ride this bus. They can't ride this train. I'm sorry, not on this journey. No, not happening.
Because your circle is so important, and you have to keep your circle strong and charged, because if not, you'll eventually be the average of the 5 people you're around. So if you're around a bunch of drainers, I guarantee, just give it a little bit of time, your energy will be sapped.
Yes, sir. And one last thing, in business, once you start it, like I said, go tomorrow morning. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I got a couple of dollars in my pocket. Even if you ain't got your money to get going, look, I got a couple of dollars for you, okay? I mean, reach out to me, because, you know, I just love to help somebody on their journey. I mean, because that's how you grow the world. But at the end of the day, once you get that business going, don't forget the market. Like, look, I got brochures, pretty cool stuff. Brochures, business cards. And you see, this stuff is colorful. Yes. You know, I even harass the postal workers with every door direct mail.
I love it.
They dislike us, but you know what? We love it because it works. And I mean,
and because you were willing to invest in your business, and I really think, I'm shaking my screen, but you were willing to invest in your business, and that's one thing I really feel like. I know I said we only have one, we're going to close it out, but let's jump right here really quickly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there was a point in time when you were not investing in your business, and there's a point in time when you started investing in your business. Walk us really quick in 1 minute. Walk us through that point where you said, you know, I'm going to do it free, and then went to the point you said, you know what, I'm about to really start investing in my business. I'm about to get my material right, my wealth. So tell me about those two separate points.
Those two separate points. We were just driving around town with the open trailer, like I said, the humbling days with a little 42-inch Craftsman on the back. Now we got John Deere's and big dogs and steel and all that other cool stuff. But anyways, moving right along. We started driving. We moved on up. We got white pickups, got white enclosed trailers. I call it a rolling storage shed because you can lock it up and back against the shed and we're good to go for the next day for all of our trucks. Mm-hmm. So what we did, we started purchasing graphics, logos, and everything. So we went in, we always had T-shirts, but we even updated our T-shirts and everything else like that. We came online with the website. That was a hit and miss. I operated 2 years without a website. Was trying to figure out how do I get lead generation, And I got a website online, and I put a request a quote now, and believe it or not, that thing works. Matter of fact, I got 67. One just popped up. I got 67 quotes pending. That I'm sure that I'm gonna try to get to them, but 67 is a lot to get to. Okay, but at the end of the day, I mean, just all of that. I mean, it's just pretty cool. Like you said about investing from that point of saying people kind of riding down the road with a white truck, people guessing like, oh, you're just another contractor. Mm-hmm. Now it's no mystery. Like even people say, well, what's Grassmasters? I added landscape management professionals on the bottom.
Look at that. Answer the question because that's the question. Going and one thing, because I think gone are the days where we can just go through and put that magnetic stick on the side of the door and we say we're in business. If that can only work for so long, but eventually you're going to go through and elevate yourself. You may need that to start off, but that's not where you're going to be forever because you're going to have to go out there and invest in yourself. You're going to have to get great material. You have to go out and get on the web. It's going to be things that you're going to have to do. And man, that's one thing that I really just commend you on, man. You really started taking your business very seriously. And I just see the results, and I know you see it as well, but I just see it really flourishing. And so with that, before we leave, man, I know last season the show is called the ASKFaris show, and I realized I didn't ask it. I didn't allow anybody to ask me any questions. But before we go, man, I want you to shoot any questions that you may have towards me. It doesn't matter if it's business, whatever. ASKFaris is one question that's on your heart, bro.
What have you found to be some of the most amazing marketing habits out there? Because marketing is an ever-changing world.
Yes. So I think one thing as far as one habit that I found in marketing is staying consistent and having foresight rather than hindsight. So foresight is actually when you see things coming and you go ahead and act on it now instead of hindsight saying I'm going to do what everybody else did a year ago. In marketing trends, they change so quickly. Instead of saying I'm going to do what everybody did a year ago, no, you're staying abreast. And I think as CEOs and entrepreneurs, you have to stay abreast to the current trends that's going. Like right now, it's a huge thing out there. It's like Facebook bots. Those are things that is trending right now. A year from now, it's going to be something totally different. So I think one thing that I saw that actually I can attribute to my success is being very consistent, being very, very consistent and staying ahead of the trends and not just getting caught in the wave that's actually taking me back to the good old days. Because I see so many times people, they go through and, well, hey, they're behind the curve. It's like, okay, well, I'm about to do PPC, and PPC at work, pay-per-click advertisement, it works, and you have to make sure it's done right, but it worked back 3 or 4 years ago really good. Now it's cost a little bit more. Facebook advertising works very good. Instagram advertising is killing it right now. YouTube is about to be that next thing right there. So it's really staying ahead of the curve instead of just actually being caught up in the current as well. So that's what I attribute to my marketing success right there, man. That's what I attribute. But man, before we leave, man, if anybody's interested in getting in contact with you, man, are you on Facebook? What's your website? What's your IG? What's your phone number? How can people get in contact with you, man?
It's very simple. We got many avenues out there. We have like I said, named Darnell Johnson. My nickname is Bubba, so you should be able to find me pretty easy on Facebook. I don't think I have any blocks on there. I don't think so. I don't believe in that type of stuff anyhow. Phone number is simple, 803-747-2163. It comes directly to me. I forward it from the desk phone to my phone. And one thing about it, I sell the experience from when I actually answer all the calls that comes in. And, I definitely call folks back and follow up. So at the end of the day, if I can't get to you right at the end of the day, I guarantee with a couple of seconds, couple of minutes, because at the end of the day, I believe in that excellence in customer service. You won't be waiting. I just say, respect my time at night. I'm trying to sleep a little bit, but I really don't have any hours because, when you have a burning in your spirit, at the end of the day, you just love to help. So, I mean, call me in the night, but anytime, like I said, just kind of respect the nighttime at least, And
what's your website as well?
It is actually Grassmasters-SC as in South Carolina.com.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
We're going to include all that in our show notes, man. And we just appreciate you coming on board and just sharing your story. And I really hope that it really inspired someone along the way to go through and take action, to go through and actually check those batters in their circle, to go through and say, you know what, I'm going to stay on the recharge group. I'm gonna stay on the charge group instead of the ones that's draining as well. So man, again, thank you so much, Darnell, for coming on, man. I appreciate everything you're doing. Continue to go through and explode yourself in this business, man, because you're doing a fantastic job, man.
Absolutely. And I want to say this before we go real quick. At the end of the day, why challenge everybody to do the things that they need to do for us, starting a business, because procrastination will eat you alive. And the unique part about business is by the time you put that materials out there, you look good, you got shirts, you got all your materials out there, your trucks. Guess what? By the time a person calls you, they're not looking for a quote. They're looking for the service. They want the service. There's a difference. A quote costs you, the business owner, money, but service brings you money. There's a difference in the conversation.
Yeah, revenue generating, man. I love it, bro. Man, I'm gonna have to definitely get you back on board, man. And then next time, man, because I know you're really raising up that next generation with your daughter and your son as well, man. We have to include them in because I know they're from firecrackers as well. They're picking up, and children are sponges, so they're picking up everything that you're putting out, man. So we have to bring the family back on board. But again, man, we appreciate you being on the show, and we look forward to hearing from you very soon. Okay, man?
Awesome, good sir. Hey, thank you for having us.
All right, man. Take care, man. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. You too.
Just loyal. I just been working a lot. I'm on my way to the top. I just be ducking the ops. I wanna cut the new drop.